following podcast contains jokes and laughter, but we want to make it clear the humor is never at the expense of the victims or the tragedies discussed. If you enjoy a blend of comedy and true crime, you found your podcast. However, if you're easily offended, this might not be the right fit for you, and that's perfectly okay. Listener discretion is advised. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Melanin Mysteries. We got another good one for you today. So this one, let's get it started. Lita McClinton, she had it all. Beauty, charm, and a life that looked picture perfect. But on the quiet morning in 1987, she answered the door to what seemed like a sweet surprise, pink roses. But instead of romance, danger was waiting on the other side. What happened was a twisted tale of betrayal, greed, and a husband with more secrets than a soap opera villain. If this was a Lifetime movie, you'd be yelling at the screen, but unfortunately, this was real life. If it's morning, you're going to need a very strong cup of coffee for this one. But this one definitely gives it's 5 o'clock somewhere vibes. You may need a drink to get you through this one. I'm your host, Tiffany.
And I'm your co-host, Willie. Here we go.
So it's a chilly Atlanta morning, January 16th of 1987. You wake up, you smile. Why? One, because it's another day the Lord has made and you will rejoice in it. And you're also about to be fuck nigga free.
I'm F-R-E-E, fuck nigga free. That mean I ain't gotta worry about no.
Well, almost. So you've already set the wheels in motion to divorce your cheating ass husband. I don't know who the fuck he think he is. He must not know you pressure, girl. But that's his loss. We didn't in the mood to talk about him today. But you're going to push through because even though there's a prenup in place, you're not leaving this marriage with nothing. So for 10 years, you cooked, you cleaned, and you played the role of the good wife, and he think he got money and he can treat you any type of way? No, sir. That ass gonna pay. Emotional damages. Overall, his nasty ass has been cheating for years. We gonna push through. He can give up at least a property or two. Hell, he got it. And you got an amazing attorney that's going to handle that for you. So while you're getting ready for this court hearing, the doorbell rings. It's about 8:15 a.m. Who the hell is at your door that's early? But you go downstairs, you check the peephole, but you don't see anyone, but you see a huge bouquet of pink roses. Now, who could these be from? Maybe the delivery man got the wrong address. So you open the door, and instead of being greeted by the delivery man, you're met with gunshots. The first one misses you, thank God. But immediately after, before you can move, another shot goes off.
And here I go. Lita McClinton Sullivan. That's a hell of a name. Was born January 7th, 1952 in Atlanta, Georgia. Her parents were Emery and Joanne McClinton. So Emery worked as a civil rights activist and official for the U.S. Department of Transportation, and Joanne was a Georgia state representative. So they was high ranked. You know what I'm saying? Well known in these streets. Her parents had been together since they were in the 7th grade. Now that's true love right there. What happened? You don't get shit like that no more. Since the 7th grade, social media messed up all this. I'm just going to throw it out there. She was the oldest of 3 children. Her siblings were Valencia and Embry Jr. She was part of the black elite in the South growing up. She was part of the Jack and Jill Club. She went to elegant parties, coalitions. She was a petite young woman.
Cotillions. Go back and say cotillions and make sure you edit all this.
Okay, no. Okay, here we go. She was part of the Jack and Jill Club. She went to elegant parties, cotillions. I said coalitions, by the way, y'all. She was a petite young woman. They said she had bright and trusting eyes with thick shoulder-length hair, and she was heavy into fashion. She walked right into her parents' footsteps of black excellence by graduating from Spelman University, and that was in 1975, with a degree in political science. So Lita was the epitome of class and grace. She even mentored Judge M. Yvette Miller. She ended up later making history. She was the first black woman chief judge in 1999 of the Georgia Court of Appeals.
Come through with the black girl magic.
Hey, man, to that black girl magic, rock on. And she said that Lita helped her become the first black woman crowned Miss Macon in 1979, and she was a close friend. Yeah, 1979. That was a good years, man. I was gonna say something in there, but I'm not. I'm gonna wait. Go ahead.
I don't know. I wasn't even thought of. My parents hadn't even made yet, so I don't know about that.
I'm an 80s baby. 80s, that's best year. Just want to throw it out there. The 80s, that's the 80s. The 80s the best year to be born. The rest of it, y'all got problems. Just throwing it out there.
The 80s was a good decade, I'll say that.
I know, because of crack. It was. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Crack, yeah, crack really made the 80s work. While we were born in the struggle, like we really was. All right, let's just go on.
Okay. So Lita, she had a man. She had a rich white man at that. Or so she thought. And this man was actually her husband. She met James Sullivan. And James Vincent Sullivan was born in 1941 in South Boston, Massachusetts. So he grew up in an Irish Catholic home with both his parents. They say his father worked as a typesetter, and I had to do some research because I had never heard of that. So a typesetter, especially in the 1940s, was someone who arranged text for printing using metal type or lineal type machines. It was a very skilled, hands-on job that required precision, as each letter or line had to be manually set, proofed, and prepared for newspapers, books, and advertisements. That sounds like a job I could not have.
Well, I know that nigga was mad when computers came out. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
about that job you got. We don't need you, nigga.
So I couldn't find his parents' names or anything, but I did find out that James had a brother whose name was Frank. And he went to high school at Boston Latin High and graduated and got an academic scholarship to Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts. So he was smart. He graduated in 1962 with a degree in economics. He then went on to study finance at the Boston University. So 3 years after graduation, James marries his first wife. Her name was Catherine Murray. They had 4 children together. Pretty average life. James worked in the controller's office at Jordan Marsh, which was a Boston department store, and then later at Pete Marwick and Mitchell, which was an accounting firm. Life of a normal white man. So now James had an uncle. This uncle didn't have any kids, and he treated James and his brother like they were his own kids. His name was Frank Burnett, and he asked James if he could help him run his liquor distribution company called Crown Beverages. You know, since James had his degree and all that, he was smart, he had his degree. And the company was founded in 1962, so James had his family move to Macon, Georgia in 1973 to help his uncle. So Uncle Frank unfortunately went to the upper room in 1975, but he left James as his only heir to the company. So now James is in a position to make some money. And you know how folks be when they come from nothing. They got something, they get to acting real brand new, right?
They should never gave you niggas money. God
That
damn.
part. Chappelle said it best. So when Unc died, James just went ahead. He just dumped his wife and the kids, and he told them they could take their asses back to Boston.
That nigga, he got a little bit of money in his pocket. Like,
He
look,
got to acting real
he
funny.
said-
You know, niggas get some money and start acting funny. You know, income tax time about to be coming. You know, niggas about to get to acting real funny.
Hell, you're gonna be a bunch of cars with 30 tabs driving up the streets, and a couple bitches gonna find relationships. Throwing it out there. That's what happens. But what I was gonna say was he did her like old dude did his wife in what was that movie? Come on, with Eddie Murphy, all them actors. Remember, he's like, "Hey, put your mom on the phone." He's like, "Yeah, I'm never coming home."
I don't know because I ain't see that movie. So anyway,
You corny as hell.
James only gave her $1,000 a month in child support, which I'm sure this is the 70s. So I'm sure that's a pretty decent amount of change. So the divorce was filed under irreconcilable differences. Basically, he wanted to go out and be outside, and he didn't want nobody tying his ass down.
Yeah, exactly. I get it.
You get it.
No, I mean, no, not like that. I mean, finish the story. Don't do that. Just finish the story. Shit. Why did I say that? I was thinking and I spoke.
So basically, like, you gonna get some money, you was gonna be outside of what you said. Like, yeah,
no.
it's like, oh, you're like, I get it. I'm just like,
No, I was thinking out loud. I know, right? God damn, man. Go ahead. Okay. The man just didn't want to be tied down because he had some money in his pocket. That's all it was. But anyway, it was said that James was very bland, very white, no swag. You get the picture? You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, he was a corny white boy. One day he walks in a clothing store called T. Edwards in ATL, and I guess it's like an upscale clothing boutique. He needs to step his game up now. He got a little money in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? So he like, look, I'm trying to get these hoes. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all it is. When niggas, we dress up for the women. That's all we do. Let's be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? The best song ever came out was Power of the PUSSY, because we do everything for cooch. That's just the reality of it, right? But like he said, James ain't got no swag at all, right? He's a corny white boy, so he don't know what he's looking for. Maybe some new loafers. He maybe was trying to get some Dockers. You know what I'm saying? Or the jacket, the leather, the members only jackets. I don't know what was in style back then. So it's early 1976, and this is how James and Lita they end up meeting. Cause see, Lita saw James walking around looking bland and lost, and she felt like shit. I can save this white boy. You know what I'm saying? I can save him. She was working as an assistant manager at that same store. So Lita was 24 at the time, and James was 34, so he was 10 years older. So I think that's 10 years older. That's not too bad, right?
No, I don't think it's too bad. He 24, she 34.
All right, yeah, that ain't too bad. Okay,
And I
good.
mean, you think like she kind of grew up a little bit more polished, so she would have to have a certain caliber of man anyway. Like
Yeah, I
she
guess.
couldn't have no regular ass nigga. Like she grew up in the black elite.
I know
Now
that's
white
okay, but
people
why you grew up in a black elite and you you see
chose a poor white man.
a
I don't know.
corny white boy at that? Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, so James and Lita, they got together and she put that black wife effect on him before that was even a thing. So
Mm.
Lita helped him update his wardrobe. She told him how to fix his hair. She told him to dump them old man glasses and get you some contacts, my boy. She took him from the white Steve Urkel to the white Stefan, okay?
Stefan, there you go.
I used to love me some Stefan. So anyway, the two started dating and James proposed after just a few months. Friends said that James showered Lita with gifts. He took her off to fancy dinners, dancing, but most importantly, he showered Lita with attention.
You know good and damn well that boy wasn't dancing. Know what I'm saying?
I said he took
You
her
know,
out dancing. That ain't mean he was dancing.
yeah, I'm about to say, you know damn well. Know what I'm saying? Now, but then again, man, sometimes they just get out there and they just whatever they mind tell white people to do on the damn floor, they do that shit. Know what I'm saying? Pure point blank. The two got married December 29th, 1976, a year after meeting. But let's back up. Let's back up just a moment. Remember, we told you that James had an ex-wife and kids he sent packing back in Boston. Remember, he said, look, put your mama on the phone. Hey, I'm leaving. Whatever. He mistakenly felt to tell Lita about them. So this nigga out there whining and dining, bumping and grinding, diamonds all shining, and didn't even tell her that he was married and had kids back home, right? That's a red flag. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, that's a red flag.
Yes. And he didn't tell her until they were engaged. You know what I'm saying? But by then, Lita was in too deep. You know what I'm saying? She was in too deep. She like, I like this feeling. This white boy treated me good. And Lita was ready to be his second wife. She didn't even blink when a few days before the wedding, Jane popped up with a prenup for Lita to sign. So Lita was naive and she was in love, and she didn't even read the prenup before signing it. In reality, she signed up for leaving with nothing, right? So basically, he said, the shit don't work. All you're gonna end up with was $2,500 a month, in alimony for 3 years. I mean, that's still a little bit of money, but you know, I mean, that's not what she's used to living. But I'm just saying it's better than nothing, right? But she expected to be with Jane forever, right? So she's living in a fucking fairy tale, like a lot of women do. Let's be honest. You didn't think the fact that he left his wife didn't tell you he was married and had kids, and you think that you're gonna be different? Nigga, please. So Lita's parents did not care for James at all. They were concerned about how the world would view them, right? Because you know it's a Ebony and Ivory situation. You know what I'm saying? Marriage, even though it was legal, so it was legal at the time, but it was still highly frowned upon, especially in the South. Now, at this time, the Loving versus VA that declared interracial marriage legal in the U.S. had just passed, and that was 1967. This was only 1976, right? So it was people doing it, but it was still kind of looked at
Taboo.
like, yeah, it was still taboo. Like, yeah, you married a white woman. I think, oh no, that was earlier. I was about to say, damn, like Sammy Davis Jr. had a white girl, and they forced that nigga to marry a black woman. That's a long story, but check that out. You
But
gotta
it's different from a white man dating a black woman than a black man dating a white woman. That was absolute. They were not gonna
no,
have
no,
that.
no, no. They didn't want. It was more frowned upon a black man dating a white woman than a
Nigga,
white
that's what I
man.
just said.
Oh, you did? Okay, my bad. I misunderstood you. Okay, yeah. Okay, my bad. You're right. You're right. Okay, okay. We're on the same page. Cool. That's why we besties. That's why we besties. And they also said that James came across as opportunist. He's an opportunist and uncouth. Lita's dad said that James was a pathological liar. When they met, James told him that his father worked for a publishing empire, but we know what the nigga doing. The nigga was setting up blocks to be printed up, right? So it really wasn't a publishing empire. But we know what his father did and who was barely able to take care of his family financially. So, you know, he tried to make his father look like he was something more than what he was. And that wasn't the case. So that nigga's a pathological liar.
So, I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from. Like, if you're, you know what I'm saying, like you came from a poor background, you're just trying to fit in. So, with that part, I kind of get because you're just trying to fit in with your surroundings. Because they're like, well, what would you have to offer my daughter? You know what I'm saying? So, I could kind of see that coming in a social
That he better say,
circumstance.
"Dick, I get money and dick. That's what I got to offer." Know what I'm saying? Now, which one she want? No, but I'm sorry, but real talk. And I also get it. If we're gonna be honest, because like, and I used this example before. A person say, "Yeah, I'm a sanitation engineer." You know, it sounds good, but you really just a garbage man. So I mean, he technically did work for a publishing empire. He did. I mean, technically, he did. Granted, his job title was not a prestige. It was him selling a blocks, but I mean, he's not lying. He did work for, excuse me, a publishing empire. He did.
Yeah.
So he didn't lie. But go ahead.
So after the couple got married, they moved into a mansion in Macon, Georgia. But Lita wasn't there full time. She was commuting from Atlanta to Macon because she was still working as a buyer for a clothing store by then. But she eventually quit and moved to Macon permanently. Now they had a beautiful mansion at 1276 Nottingham Drive, and they lived in an all-white neighborhood. And of course, Lita stood out like the ray of sunshine she was. And even though it was the late 70s, racism was still extremely prevalent. But Lita grew up during the civil rights era, so she knew how things were. Her father was a civil rights activist. She knew how things were, so she really didn't let that bother her. She just kept pushing. But them hating ass neighbors, they were so goddamn ignorant. They said they would literally throw shit in the couple's yard.
Damn.
But they said we were like animals.
I know,
Oh,
man.
okay.
Look, I ain't about to even get into that, man. White
Well,
folks.
that's a whole other conversation for another
Exactly.
day.
We ain't about to even do it right now. Go
No.
ahead.
So she was one of the very first Black students to integrate at St. Pius High School. So this was like nothing to her. And she was just doing her thing. She was working at the American Heart Association, and she was also counsel unwed mothers. She was on the board for the Macon beauty pageants, and James was still running his liquor distribution company. But you know, a man is good for being an authorized representative.
Well, goddamn. Not all.
They be
Not
like
all of us.
Verizon. That don't be the real store. You go into the mall, but that ain't the real store. But you know, a facade can only be kept up for so long.
True.
And over time, the cracks in their relationship started to show. Or should I say, James started showing his pale ass.
Pale ass. With that white
All
booty. The pink meat.
So one, the couple, they were living way above their means. And it was more so James than Lita. And they were so busy trying to keep the Joneses, but they couldn't pay their damn bills. Which is so crazy because they said James was like dumbass cheap. Like cheap as fuck. Like Terry Crews on Everybody Hates Chris cheap. No, I'm lying. He was worse than that. They said James was so cheap, he wore his dead uncle's underwear so he wouldn't have to pay for new underwear.
No, that's nasty
That
as
is
hell,
creepy
dog.
as hell.
You touching ball juice. That's just another
That's
man's
just
ball
creepy
juice.
as hell. Nigga, go buy some goddamn underwear. What
You
were they,
can't
like
got no
$1 a
draw.
pack by then?
Yeah, but you spending all this money on old girl. They say he whining in the diner. You can't get no drawers, my dude.
But then they said he would turn around and splurge on tailored suits. And then they said, like, y'all know it'd be like hell hot in Georgia in the summer. They said James will have Lita turn off the AC because he wanted to keep the bill down. They couldn't even buy groceries for real because James had them on a damn starvation diet because he didn't want to spend money on groceries. But then he would turn around and throw an over-the-top dinner party. Like, they make that shit make sense.
Yeah, I don't get that, right? And I'm sure you knew it was coming, right? You know this coming. James was cheating. Cheating in the next room. You know he was stroking and poking. You know what I'm saying? So in December 1982, 6 years into the marriage, a Christmas card came to the house and Lita opened it. The card was addressed to James and it was, of course, from a woman and was signed "Missing Your Kisses at Christmas." So back in the day, that was like receiving a text message on your phone at night from a chick.
Bold as hell. Like, I'm sure she knew he
She
was
got your
married.
jazz, the whole address and everything like that.
Probably because she had been to the house before.
Yes, you done mailed a damn card to this dude. Damn, these side chicks was messy back in the goddamn 80s.
70s, yeah. Well, yeah, 80s, yeah.
That's
sure
80s,
was.
yeah.
Mhm. And I'm sure this was not one of Lita's finest moments, but shit, she pulled up on the return address on the card and she waited for that woman to come home before she confronted her. She had been hearing the cheating rumors for years, but she ignored them. But because not her white man, not my white man. I done put the black wife effect on and I done cleaned you up and made you all luscious and stuff. Now you gonna cheat on me too? And the woman, she confirmed the affair.
You know, shit. The car confirmed the affair. Shit, know what I'm saying?
I mean, but sometimes we just be wanting to have confirmation. Like, we just want to make sure
Y'all
before
be
we
doing
jump to
to like,
conclusion.
yeah, know what I'm saying? Like the card itself. I'm missing you. Like, I'm missing your kisses on Christmas. This ain't Auntie Cheryl. So anyway, Lita confronted James, and James was big man. That nigga was pissed, right? Not because he got caught. Not he was pissed off, not because he got caught. He was pissed off because he's like, bitch, you ain't gonna check me. Like, I'm the man. I make the parts move around in this piece, right? So James wasn't playing with paying Lita no type of attention. So he said it is what it is. He figured she needed him more than he needed her, and he was gonna do what he gonna do. Like, what you gonna do? Leave? And that's a messed up situation. That was just like the case we covered. I don't know the name, but the one
Samira.
case, yeah, the ugly model. That was just like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get in these situations with these men that provide and whatever, and then they
But
get you to the point.
hold on. Lita didn't
What?
need him. Did you not hear she came from money? She didn't need his money.
I mean, okay.
She
So
didn't
did
need his money.
okay, my
Her
bad.
parents was well off. She was good. I'm sure she was
I'm sorry.
good.
You're right. You're right. Go ahead.
And
Go ahead.
she had a job too. So Lita was a lot different from Samira. Lita did have a job. She came from money. It's a totally different situation.
True.
But he
That's
said
true.
what? He said, what was she gonna do? Leave? She said, that's exactly what I'm gonna do, nigga. Now
Oh,
what?
damn. Okay. My bad.
She went and met with an attorney. His name was John Taylor. He was a friend of her family's. And he suggested that she confront James, which she had already did. And, James didn't give a damn. So John suggested that the couple sign a post-nup that would cancel out the prenup and give Lita a little bit more wiggle room and protection in case the marriage went left. So James agreed. And the post-nup, it really wasn't much better. Because, it gave Lita $300 a week plus $30,000 for 3 years if they divorced. But again, Lita just signed it, still praying that her marriage would stand the test of time.
Oh, see? Damn. Delusional. Just delusional.
Ain't nobody getting married to get divorced.
Just to be more. I understand that, but if you getting married, though, and you see this shit is going left, nigga, you need to go right out the goddamn door. That's what I'm going to tell you. So in 1983, James sold the liquor business for $5 million, which in 2025 will be equivalent to a little over $12 million. So let's be honest with you, that's not no crazy amount of money. All right. I mean, granted, that's way more than I got, but 12 million ain't no crazy amount. So James is playing like a big dog. Look, again, I said again, but his lifestyle though. That's all I'm saying. James is playing like a big dog. And he decides to buy a beachfront house in West Palm Beach, Florida for $2 million, right? So of course that's $4.82 million in 2025 money. Lita didn't even see the mansion before Jane bought it, nor did she want to live in it. Lita said, I did not attend ever to make Palm Beach my home, as I was not accepted in the social community there. So remember this, back in the 80s, man, y'all white, not y'all white folks, but them white folks, they don't be playing, you know what I'm saying? Shit, in the 80s, they definitely wasn't. They was there. They was still bitter about the whole civil rights movement and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I.e., Rodney King getting his ass beat. So racial tensions were very high. I stated to my husband on many social occasions that I did not want to live in Palm Beach. When my husband purchased a Palm Beach home, he did so over my objections and even though I told him I would never make it my permanent residence, right? So James knew what he was doing. He probably knew that she didn't want to live that shit anyway, right? So he bought it because he gonna have his hoes over there, right? So James didn't give a damn. He hired movers and packed up the house and had their belongings moved to West Palm Beach, Florida. Now, to be socially accepted in Palm Beach, James took up tennis, took flying lessons, and would mingle over cocktails. So that nigga went right. He went from the white boy that's fucking with a black woman to the white boy that he was always intended to be, right? So he was sending these little cocktails, and he probably was over there sniffing the wine and all that snobby, corny shit that they be doing. But the white folks, they could smell new money, and they did not fuck with James, right? And the fact that the nigga had a black wife, they didn't like that shit.
So James, now he really starts showing his natural pale ass. He would leave Lita at home while he would try and, rub elbows with them rich folks. And he would usually have another woman on his arm. So Lita wasn't just about to sit back and just let him be outside like he wasn't married. She confronted his ass every chance she got. And James is such a petty ass man. He would get caught and then he would get mad at Lita and then he would cut her off from finances. Like, how you mad at me because your ass got caught? Or they would fight, like real life fight.
That's what niggas
I bet
do.
she was whooping his ass too. But anyway, they said the fights were so
I
bad the
would, you know
police had
what
been
though?
called.
Look, I'm sorry, and I'll probably have to be rude, but you know, I bet you he didn't call her a nigger. Notice I say nigga, he didn't call her nigger when they're fighting. You know it.
I mean, I don't know about that, but I think she whooped his ass.
I mean, she probably did. He probably was on the ground like calling her. Well, no, their favorite word is nigger bitch. That's what they like saying. So you know he
Well,
said
shit,
that
you
shit a
married
couple
this
times.
nigga, bitch, so what does that say about you?
Exactly. There you go.
I mean, I'm just saying. But anyway, they said the fights were so bad the police have been called multiple times to break them up. And you know, all this foolery, it naturally was going to take a toll on anybody. And they said Lita slipped into a depression and she wouldn't even like leave the house. She still wanted her marriage and even saw a therapist to help. So, you know, typical man. He's like, oh, I'm on board. You know, I want to fix this marriage. But when he ain't with her, he out still out doing his whatever he doing. But Lita, she wasn't stupid though. She was like, okay, you gonna do you. Okay. So, baby, let's go ahead and buy, let's buy a house back in Atlanta. I want to be close to my family. Can you, we trying to work things out. Like, I think that would make me happy. Can you buy me a house? So he said, oh, okay. So the couple, they bought a 4-bedroom townhouse on Slayton Drive in Buckhead, and it was priced in the mid 400,000s, and this was in 1984. And on August 12th of 1985, see, Lita, she had a plan. She was done, and she said she was sick of James.
I am sick. I am sick of your shit. And when I'm not sick, I'm tired. I am sick and tired.
And she rented a U-Haul. She hooked it up to her 73 Mercedes 450 SL and got right on the road to Atlanta. And when she got there, she filed them divorce papers.
Oh yeah, because see, back in the day, U-Haul didn't have trucks; they just had the little trailers, right? That's funny. So Lita, she got the taste of freedom, and she started living again, right? She started dating, and she would start working for different charities. She was heavily involved in arranging the decor for the 1986 New Year crescendo ball for the cystic fibrosis that was held at the Ritz in Buckhead. She wasn't thinking about James' ass, and he wasn't thinking about her. They were both living their separate lives. The only contact that they had were through their attorneys. I feel like it should be, right? James just couldn't be civil to save his life. He straight up attacked Lita's character. He claimed she was a thief, a cheater, and a drug addict. Now, remember, it was in the 80s, so that could be true. You know, crap was running rampant. Just throwing it out there. So James claimed he found dollar bills that had cocaine residue on them. He said that she stole diamonds from the house. It was so bad that Lita's attorney had her taking monthly drug tests just so that she can prove James wrong when they went to court. So, you know, he big man, right? Now, in March 1986, Lita's best friend, Poppy, was going through her own divorce with her own husband. And Poppy's husband, Marvin, was a weirdo too. He had Poppy's phone wired tapped and would record the calls. And a lot of the conversations this punk ass dude went ahead and gave it over to James. So whatever they talk about, he gave over to James. That's some sucker shit.
But here comes some karma for his ass. Poppy's husband was later indicted by the FBI on invasion of privacy charges. Now what? So the day before Lita was killed, January 15th, 1987, her mom and sister came by her house and they were just discussing the trial. And James had scheduled someone to come to the condo and take a video inventory of everything that was in the house. I think it was just fucking aggravating. But Lita got a call that same day that the inventory was canceled, so she just, went about her day. So that evening, she went to dinner with a friend at the R. Thomas Deluxe Grill. And then later on, Poppy and her daughter came to stay the night with Lita, and they were going to go with her to the courthouse the next day. So the women, they planned to stay up and have a sleepover, stay up all night, gossiping like we tend to do, but they ended up falling asleep because Lita was due in court at 2 p.m. on January 16th, but as we know, she never made it.
So Lita's neighbor, Bob Christensen, said that he noticed a stranger in the yard near Lita's front door carrying a box of flowers. Bob turned to go into the garage, and a second later, he heard 2 gunshots. He said the second he heard the gunshots, he immediately thought of James. Now, that's crazy, right? Bob ran his door. He saw the man running away and almost got hit by another neighbor's car. Bob said, I walked up and the door was ajar. It was probably about 6 to 8 inches, and I really didn't want to have to go in there, but I knew I had to. I opened it up and Lita was laying in the foyer. I immediately went into the kitchen, which was just a few feet away, and called 911. And then I came back to see if I could make her more comfortable. But it was obvious that she was in pretty bad shape. Poppy and her daughter were still upstairs. Poppy called Lita's mom, Joanne.
So Joanne said, quote, Poppy called me and she was screaming and crying, saying Lita's been shot. I was getting dressed to go visit my mom in the hospital, and I called Emery, and he got there before I did. They were putting her in the ambulance when I drove up. Emery drove his car, and I followed to Piedmont Hospital. We were there a short time when they pronounced her dead. And that's when Emery said, that son of a bitch did it. We knew right away it has something to do with Jim. Now, Lita's cause of death was a fatal gunshot wound to the right side of her head. And this man, y'all, he wasn't shit for real. Like, he didn't bother to show up at her funeral. He never called her parents. He never gave no condolence. The nigga didn't even send a card. The only thing this sorry asshole did was via the funeral home give his consent for Lita to be cremated per her parents' request, because they had to go through him since they weren't legally divorced yet.
Damn, that's some
And it was
shit.
said that's sorry as fuck. Like you could call and say I'm so sorry. Didn't say shit.
So yeah, that's that anger. That's that bitterness right there.
You can be bitter all day, but like, damn, you can't. The woman was, that's your wife. She was just shot and killed, and you can't even pick up the phone.
Yeah, that's horrible. I agree. Yeah, that's horrible.
So it was said that when James' attorney called him to tell him that Lita was dead, he had no response. So that nigga just did not give a fuck. Did not give a fuck. And he just went about his day like nothing happened. He went to a business lunch, and then he took his new girlfriend, her name was Hyo Suk Choi, they called her Suki, Rogers, to a Joe's French restaurant in Palm Beach. And Lita's parents were never even able to get into her house because James, sorry ass, had the fucking locks changed. So they weren't able to get any keepsakes or like anything to remember their daughter by. That nigga just wasn't shit.
Yeah, he was mad. Big mad. You know what I'm saying? Big man. Now,
I don't care about being mad. He wasn't shit.
Oh, I agree with you. I 100%. That white boy was not shit. So everybody believed James killed Lita, right? The neighbor, Lita's parents. He's looking crazy suspicious. But James was in Florida and Lita was in Georgia. So how would that be the case? There was no evidence linking James to the murder. Basically, the case goes cold. And James, he's living his best life. Just 8 months after Lita was killed, James made Suki wife number 3, right? Now, in March in 1990, James got into a car accident while he was driving his Rolls Royce. At the time, his license had been revoked in 1989 due to too many traffic tickets. And instead of just confessing to this shit, James decided to take it to trial and said that his wife Suki was driving. The cop that was on the scene at the time of the accident said that Suki wasn't even in the car, right? I wonder why he did that. That was crazy. Now, both James and Suki,
he was gonna get in more trouble. Like he ain't had no license. Now you in an accident.
I mean, but you saying somebody was in the car that wasn't even in the car, my nigga. You could have came up with something different than that. So now both James and Suki are charged with perjury, right? James was sentenced to a year on house arrest, but here comes that white privilege. He was able to leave the house for his weekly tennis court therapy, and his doctors prescribed. He was able to get massages and whatever the things that privileged white men get to do. He was still on the Fed's radar for Lita, right? So, he thinking that they forgot whatever, but he not knowing that they still don't send side eye on that nigga. Although he was kept quiet and the Fed took a chance and they searched his house. They found 4 guns, including a sawed-off shotgun. He was then charged with felony possession for a firearm. He had to spend the last 9 months of his house arrest in Palm Beach County Jail. So they finally,
poor baby.
I know, right? They had to do something with his white ass, right? During the search, they also came across a planner James had. One note stated, Suki and I celebrate with champagne and caviar at Joe. There was another note dated December 12, 1986, a month before the murder, that said pistol. So that before they had cell phones, so the nigga was just jotting notes down.
So Suki, she wasn't about to stick around for this shit. And she filed for divorce on that ass too. And at the divorce trial, Suki threw James' ass under the bus. She said that when they were arrested for that perjury charge, James told that he had something to do with Lita's death. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not confessing the shit. Especially from my way to jail for a completely unrelated crime. Why do people feel the need to talk about crimes they commit? This is how you fucking get caught. But anyway, maybe he figured that since they were married, she couldn't testify against him. I don't know, but this nigga set his own self up. And so Suki, she didn't speak good English, but she got on that stand and she told what she knew. She said, quote,
she was speaking proper English then.
Don't start that. Don't do it.
I ain't gonna go ahead.
She said, quote, he turned the TV high. He say anybody can listen to this conversation. So he tell me he hired person to kill Lita. He said, let's sell this house as soon as possible. And he said, we go anywhere you want, anywhere in the world. He mentioned Georgia in the countryside. You can hire those people for nothing. You can do anything you want to have done. I know James probably feel like, man, you funky ass bitch. But karma strikes again.
But this the crazy part though. Your little Korean, know what I'm saying, Kung Fu Chewy ass decided to stay with him even after knowing this.
No, so she didn't. She divorced his ass.
Not after that though. I'm talking about she told him all that. And know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, somebody can't confess to you that you didn't kill somebody and you just walk off into the sunset. No, I'm gonna sit here for a little while and make you think everything cool before I did. But she was smart.
She probably not.
If he killed this last one, what makes you think he won't kill you?
I think it was a whole situation with the perjury why she left. I guarantee you it had nothing to do with him confessing. Whatever. She had nothing to confess. I mean, she didn't leave because of that. I could be wrong, but that's my assumption.
I don't think that was the case. But anyway, so karma strikes again on James's ass. And while James was in jail, he got into a jailhouse fight because he was a little bitch. And a man named Pat O'Brien broke his nose. So just keep this name in mind for later.
No, he's lucky. That's all he broke, right? I ain't gonna say nothing. But now, January 1992, 4 years after Lita had been murdered, the feds indict James on interstate murder conspiracy charges in Atlanta. James hired two of the best attorneys money can buy. You already know he did. He should have got Johnny Cochran, Ed Garland, and Don Samuel. For once, the feds didn't cover all their bases, and all the evidence they had were circumstantial. So nothing that really truly stuck. The case ended up being dismissed for insufficient evidence on November 23rd, 1992 by a Judge Marvin Soub. Judge spent a big chunk of money paying off these attorneys, and I'm sure Sookie got a nice settlement in the divorce. But at least he's a free man. The Rolls Royce was long gone, and you could catch James riding around town on his 12-speed Pagode bike. What the fuck is that? I guess that's fancy, right? He became a recluse and ended up selling a Palm Beach mansion for $3.2 million and moved into a smaller house in Bonton Beach, Florida. So in 1994, the McClinton sued James in West Palm Beach Civil Court for a wrongful death suit, right? So they're like, yeah, we're trying to get these coins right now. James still cutting up, fires his attorney a few days into the trial and represents himself. What's up with these people representing themselves? That's that white privilege. Yeah, they gotta be, because ain't no nigga.
No, it's not. Remember DeMar?
Ah, man, that nigga was crazy, man. We talk about white people, man. Yeah, the white, they get. But you know what? No, let me back up. You know what? He probably was like, remember that one dude was like, I paid that attorney $30,000 for a divorce, and I still lost myself. So he probably like, shit, I'd rather represent myself and hopefully, you know what I'm saying, get off than pay somebody and I don't get off. So I don't know. So the McClinton's attorney, Brad Moose, said that this was a calculated move to gain sympathy from the jury. Make it look like he can't afford to pay attorneys, so he can't pay the settlement. Smart plan, but sadly, it did not work. Poor little ting. So in opening statement, James said something else that is terrible, and that is to be wrongly accused of murder, to have to live through that, and with that is another form of murder of the spirit. No, that's what he said. To be a husband and to lose your wife is the worst thing that can happen to a husband. Okay, so that was his opening statement.
A wife you couldn't even bother to send your condolences to or show up to the funeral, Nick, please.
Yeah, man, he ain't even go to the funeral. That's some bullshit right there. Come on, my nigga, you got to do better.
So James, this nigga was so fucking ignorant, it pisses me off. So while he's representing himself, he calls Lita's parents, Joanne and Embry, to the stand to question them. I would have said, fuck no. Can you say no? If they call you to the stand, can you decline? I would have declined.
No, I don't think you can. Yeah.
Anyway, Embry said, quote, it was horrible being questioned by the killer of your daughter. I know it was. I know that poor man was probably sitting there trying not to jump across that goddamn bench and strangle that man.
Hey, I would have had to beat his head. I'm sorry. Period, point blank. It's going to be white. It was going to be, I would have split his head to the other white meat. Honest with you.
No, I would have too. You're pure fucking questioning me. Oh, yeah, okay, let me. So anyway, Sookie also testified, as well as Patrick O'Brien. Remember that prison that broke James's nose in prison? So, loose lips sink ships. Remember that. Loose lips sink ships. He said that James confessed to him that he arranged Lita's murder. Why is
Them
you just
jail,
telling?
them jailhouse snitches, man. When I say they ain't no joke, why you go to jail and start talking? Like what?
That's
What?
the last place I'ma talk in.
Hell no, I ain't saying shit. Everybody trying to get out, bruh. Like, and you just over there. So I killed the bitch, and then I did this, and then, why?
I don't know. They always be in jail talking. I don't get that. So there was a call that was made to James' home on the morning of the murder, and it was kind of suspicious, but the detectives really couldn't place the details of the call, so nothing really came of that. So February 25th of 1994, James was found guilty and was ordered to pay $4 million in damages to the McClintons. But they said it wasn't about the money. They just wanted James to be held accountable for killing their daughter. And I'm with them. You can't get him in criminal court. You know, you just want to hold him responsible. I get that.
I
But
mean,
see,
hold on now. Hold on, my nigga. Now. I'm taking that money too, though. I mean, look, that
well,
will
yeah,
help a
but
little
take the
bit with the
money.
pain
But
and
still, at the end of
suffering.
the day, I want you to be held responsible for my
Oh
child's
yeah,
death.
no doubt, no doubt. But I'm just saying that 4 million help a little bit with that pain and suffering. That's all I'm saying. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Maybe not.
Shit.
But this asswipe, he just would not let them have no peace. Goddamn. So almost immediately, James appeals the judgment. He hired new lawyers, and in 1995, the Florida Supreme Court overturned the 94 judgment, ruling that the court case hadn't been filed soon enough. So when you have a criminal convict, in criminal court, there's no statute of limitations on murder. But in civil court, you only have a 2-year statute for wrongful death. That's bullshit.
I mean, but yeah, I guess it can. I mean, 2 years. I would say it would need to be a little bit longer than that. I agree. But yeah, I definitely agree. It needs definitely to be longer than that. But the McClinton wasn't going to admit defeat just yet. Remember, man, this is black royalty, man. These people, they was known in these streets. Like, come on, now you really think we about to give up? Nigga, please. The attorney counter appealed, arguing that the statute of limitation should apply when James concealed his involvement in the shooting. And finally, in 1997, the courts reinstated the original guilty verdict. And this was big. I'm talking about big. So big that it caught the media attention. And this is where it gets juicy. A segment aired on Extra.
I
Remember that
remember that
show?
show.
Yeah. Oh, so you do remember that? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I used to
Okay. I
watch that
know.
show all the time.
So a woman by the name of Belinda Trahan saw the episode. She was living in Texas at the time, but she had a boyfriend. His name was Philip Tony Harwood. Tony was also a white man, and she and Tony had dated back in the 80s, and they were on and off for about 3 years. Belinda called Atlanta PD and told them that she had information on the murder that happened back in 1987. So yeah, some shit about to get shook. So now Tony, he was a convicted felon for burglary and for escaping prison. So Tony worked for a moving company in 1986. Belinda said Tony came to her one day and said that he had a job to do for a rich white man who wanted him to off his wife. My thing is, bitch, why did you even stay with him after? Why wait this damn long, right? Why wait this long to say something? But anyway, Belinda said Tony was always bragging and lying, so she really didn't pay him no mind. Bitch, something like that, you gotta take that shit serious, though. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. But Tony kept telling her that he was telling the truth, saying that there were 2 people in on it too. He had went to Georgia to finish a job, but that the woman didn't answer the door. She jokingly said, if you want a woman to answer the door, you bring her flowers. Damn.
She said that Tony had come back from another trip and he said he finished the job but needed to collect his money. So at this point, Belinda was just tired of hearing about the shit and she still didn't believe his ass. I guess Tony was a liar. I don't know. Sound like it. And she said Tony asked her to take a ride with him. So she said she didn't know where they went, but it was an overnight trip. They ended up at a roadside diner in the middle of nowhere. She said she didn't know what state they were in. She didn't know nothing, which I find a bit suspicious. And she said, quote, a guy came in and he looked at me and he said, what is she doing here? She said the man then pushed a newspaper towards Tony. Tony took it and then they left and got in the car. And that's when she realized it was money in the newspaper. It was $14,500, which was half of what Tony told her he was paid for killing the man's wife. So she believed his ass now. And she said not long after that happened, she got on a good foot and left Tony's ass and moved to Texas and got married. But she stayed in contact with Tony, not by choice, but because Tony had been threatening her life for the last 11 years.
Nigga, you moved to Texas. Like, the nigga, well, so that killed me about real. You had to get it. You gave this nigga, if you got married up and moved, how this nigga gonna find you? You obviously had to get this nigga some information. So y'all was, they probably was stroking and poking on the side or some shit like that. know what I'm saying? She gave him the information where
It's
he
called
live
a
at.
stalker.
Man, look, we talk about the 80s, man. This was before damn internet and shit like that.
People
Stalking
was
was not
stalking
easy
people
back in
in
the
the
day.
80s too. What do
Man,
you?
it was not as easy as it was now, man. You know what I'm saying? Stalking is easy now. This
Well, if
nigga
that
was
man could break his ass out of prison, he can find a bitch.
No, hold on. Now you got a point there. I'm gonna shut my little ass up. Go ahead.
All right then. So, but by January of 1998, she was just tired of fucking threats. Like, I read somewhere that at one point, like she said when she first left him, she said like she hid out in like this attic, and she's like the attic was like 4 feet by 8 feet, and she said she stayed there for like months and just had a gun because she was so scared he was gonna come after her. So maybe she was terrified. You don't know, leave that lady alone. But so in exchange for her testimony, Belinda was granted full immunity. Because they wanted to know why the fuck you waited so long to come forward about this murder too.
Exactly.
So, but they were just so happy to get a break in the case. They just offered her full immunity. She ain't do nothing, no way. And she was able to ID James via photos. And then she sent the police right to Tony's front door.
Get this a little crazy. Yeah, the feds went back to North America Van Lines and found in an attic moving invoices. On the invoice was James' signature and Tony's signature. Remember when James brought the house in Palm Beach and he had movers? Yeah, these guys were killers. This is how the two crossed paths. The feds went right to Tony's front door, and his conscience must have been kicking his ass because in the front seat of the police car, he spilled all the damn. Hold on. That's the tea, y'all. He spilled all the damn tea. He literally said, I've been waiting on you boys for a long time. Nigga, you could have easily called us. Let's just throw it out there.
That part.
All right. According to Tony, when he was packing up and moving, James actually mentioned that he needs someone to take care of his wife. Who the fuck does that? And why would you look at me and just assume that that's something that I would do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder what this dude was wearing or how he was looking to make this dude just automatically assume that he would be somebody that would do something like that, right?
And then you casually just, hey, I need somebody to take my wife out. I mean, you down for the job? Like,
Exactly.
how you the
So-
nigga wasn't the feds? You don't know who these people
Yes,
be knowing. Like,
exactly.
you just talking to people. You don't know who is who.
You don't. So he's like, oh, I could get that job done for you for that $25K. And James said, bet. A week later, certified check was mailed to Tony at his double wide trailer. So, you know, he in a double wide trailer. That's probably the most money that nigga ever seen in his life. That nigga like, I can kill bitches as a full-time job if I'm getting this type of money. The first attempt was made, but Lita never answered the door. Remember, he mentioned that to old girl. But the second attempt on January 13, 1987, 3 men checked into a Howard Johnson at Roswell Road at 742, registered under a fake name and driving a white Toyota. Southern Bell phone records show a call at 7:44 a.m. from room 518 to James in Palm Beach. At 10:33 a.m., James calls the room back. As for the flowers, a witness recalled 2 men driving up to the Botane Bay Flower Shop on P Street Road at Fair Road, right? The men were driving a white Toyota. A white man came into the flower shop and the clerk was nervous because though he was going, so that nigga thought he was about to get robbed. He said the man asked for a dozen roses. He didn't care what color. The clerk name was Randall Benson. And he said that he was so scared, he only wired 5 of the 12 roses. I don't know what that means. He wired 5 of the 12 roses. Anyway, he said the man asked him not to leave the name of the shop on the box, so he wrapped the box in with a pink ribbon. The man left. I wonder how old girl felt knowing that it's because of you. You know what I'm saying? It's because of that comment that she made. It's the reason why old girl opened that door.
She said she felt horrible. She was like, I mean, I was joking. Like, I didn't know. I felt bad for her too. Like, I know she probably like lived with that like forever.
Yes. That's crazy.
So in May 1998, Tony was arrested and indicted by the Fulton County Grand Jury and charged with malice murder, aggravated murder, and aggravated assault. Tony wasn't about to do all that time. And he flipped on James. He was like, fuck that. So in exchange, they told him he could plead guilty to voluntary manslaughter and serve 20 years in state prison. Tony said, I'll take manslaughter for 200, please, Alex.
Ding,
but
ding.
this was contingent upon him testifying against James if they could ever get him to trial. So the feds, they went ahead, they reached out to James' attorney to ask if he would turn himself in, but they knew James wasn't going to surrender.
Hell
At the
no.
time that Tony was arrested, James was already on the beach in Costa Rica. So September 1998, so mind you, this is what, 12 years later? Like, this is crazy.
12 years. But that's white man justice right there. that's what happened. 12 years.
I mean, they tried to get him. They tried to get him back in 92, but they couldn't. I mean, they tried.
Man,
So the
come on.
state, they issued an intent to seek the death penalty against James, but James was gone. They said James left Costa Rica so goddamn fast, he left behind his precious dog Coco with a neighbor and dipped.
It's a damn shame what they did to that dog. You know he had to be nervous because white people don't leave their dog behind.
They sure don't.
They don't leave that goddamn. They'll leave a kid behind. They not leaving no dog behind. So James was on the FBI most wanted list for 4 years. He had them on a wild goose chase all over the damn planet, man. He was spotted in Venezuela, Malaysia, Ireland, East Cleveland, Guatemala. Guatemala. They seen that nigga.
I ain't trying to be funny for real. He had been in East Cleveland. They would have never found that nigga.
Exactly. They saw that nigga up at B&M on Shaw. So finally in 2002 on the episode American Most Wanted, a man in Thailand of all places recognized James. The man was chilling in a oceanfront mansion in a town, Chaham, about 150 miles outside of Bangkok. He even had a new bitch. Her name was Chakwananana Reynolds.
You did way better to pronounce that name than I thought you would have. Go ahead, friend.
Exactly. I ain't saying that name again. Who was a Thai divorcee. He actually met her in West Palm Beach and she went on the run with him. The Thai police arrested James and took him to the Lord Yao prison outside Bangkok. James' lawyers were trying to fight extradition back to the U.S. They wanted to use his international laws to avoid the death penalty.
And I don't know about y'all, but they said them Thai prisons ain't nothing to play with. So the Amnesty International says that more than 50 inmates can share a cell that is made for 20. And they said them prisons are rat infested.
Damn, that sounds like damn. Okay, go ahead.
And if the prisons are rat infested, that right there just tear me up. Disease and rotting food are the norm, and guard brutality is out of control. So James stayed in the Thai prison for 18 months, and while he was locked up, do you know this nigga got married again?
Man, how did that even happen? They got two. I'm surprised he married one of them Thai men in there.
Well, he married his Thai girlfriend. I can't pronounce her name, and I ain't about to try, but he married her. So she was his fourth wife. So James also had dual citizenship between the U.S. and Ireland. It had something to do with his parents. They didn't really go into detail, but it had something to do with his parents. So Ireland doesn't have the death penalty, and they don't play around with extradition of Irish citizens to any country that enforces capital punishment. So the Thai court said, no, thank you, sir. And they denied that citizenship motion. I didn't know they could do that, but apparently they can.
Yeah.
So James' attorneys appealed the decision to the Thai Supreme Court, arguing that it was double jeopardy for James to be charged with Lita's death because he had already been unsuccessfully prosecuted in 1992, and that case was dismissed, and he shouldn't be tried again. And the Thai court said, now, didn't we just tell your ass no? Good day, sir. Good day.
Good day, sir. You don't mess around with the Thai folks. They don't play. You know what I'm saying? Have you had Thai food before?
I can't wait to go to Thailand. That was on my list for this year, but it did not come out in our lottery we played, so I can't go to Thailand.
You could have if you wanted. But anyway, finally in March 2004, now this is about 45 years after she was murdered, extradition was granted. James is now 62 years old, so he old, man. You know what I'm saying? This nigga old as hell right now. And got off the plane at Hartsfield Airport, shackled in chains and hauled right off to the Fulton County Jail. He was in cuffs, a face mask. He only had one shoe. What the fuck happened to his other shoe? It's $1 million matter. Why they had him a face mask like the dude was chewing on, but like he was a cannibal? The U.S. Marshal Richard Macomb, who traveled back with James, said he was being difficult. Oh, okay, that's what it was. And then
they beat his ass. Shit.
Yeah, you know they did.
He lost his shoe. That's what happened. Problem solved.
You know
Punch
you
your
got
hand
your
for
ass. You know you got your ass beat when you lost your shoe. Did you know that you got an ass beat when you lost your shoe? So just days after arrival, James was smacked with a notice of the state's intent to seek the death penalty against him by the prosecutor Paul Howard Jr. So James' lawyer Dom Sanyo said that James' foot was swollen and the mask was a precaution from a serious dental problem that the Fulton County Jail refused to assist James with. Bitch, you don't get
fuck
no
that.
dental insurance that you didn't kill this young, beautiful black woman and been on her. Yeah, what happened to all that money? You should get your teeth fixed in. So Don's defense for James was he didn't do it. He isn't guilty. That was it. Nothing else. He
Oh,
said that.
okay.
Yeah, exactly. He said James didn't flee. No, no, no. He just so happened to move at the time the indictment that he left.
Oh, coincidence.
Winky dink, right? And then he left the country long before he was aware that there was a warrant out for his arrest. Apparently, he was unaware that he was the target of an international manhunt. I mean, duh.
Really?
Yeah, that thing, yeah. That's how.
Wow.
Yes, it's fake. It's fake news. Fake news. Oh shoot. Go ahead.
So anyway, when James fled in 1998 to Costa Rica, he had hired a private banker in Palm Beach to handle his money in offshore accounts. And he was having money funneled through a corporate trust in Liechtenstein, which I found out was a small country in Europe between Austria and Switzerland. So this nigga knew what he was doing. They said he would receive wire transfers in Thailand bi-weekly ranging from $1,200 to $1,400. And with that much money, you living like a freaking king over there. If you that's what that puts them with around 2,500, that's not even $3,000 a month. Like you living over there, like he can do whatever the hell he want with that amount of money. And that was in 98. Oh yeah. So
Living the
anyway,
best life.
he really was. So trial started for James on February 6th of 2006 for Lita, 19 years after her murder.
Yeah, that's
And you
horrible,
know,
man.
her parents was there front and center.
Oh,
And you know
yeah.
they testified they couldn't wait to get up there. I'm sure that was a glorious day.
You know it.
So it was. Tony, Belinda, and so many more testified against James at the trial. So the star witnesses for the trial were Belinda and Tony. And the defense tried to tear both of them apart on the stand. They called Tony a con artist and they called Belinda a dupe. And they tried to say with so much time that had passed, she couldn't possibly have remembered so many details. Bro, and then here we go. On the stand, Tony over here changing his story, saying he wasn't the one that killed Lita. He said he just told James that he would find somebody to do it for him. Now you know these people's
Nigga,
plea
you are
deals.
exactly
You
like
done already confessed. Now you're gonna get up here damn near 20 years later. It wasn't even me. Sir, shut up. Shut up.
I wonder does that wipe out his plea deal? Because
No,
he
it should have avoided his plea deal, but again, that's that white fucking privilege. They let him rock and continue out his sentence.
that's crazy. That's
Ain't
crazy
it?
work. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So James, he did not take the stand in his own defense. And the trial concluded on February 27th of 2006. And after 5 hours of deliberation, the jury found James guilty on malice murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, and burglary. And then the very next day, the jury came back and sentenced him to without the possibility of parole. And mind you, at the time, he was 64.
Yeah, man, that shit got this nigga at his youth. He old now, man. He ain't about
It's
to
like
do
he done
nothing.
lived his life now, shit.
Yeah, he done lived his life. Y'all done waited for it. Took y'all this damn long. You should get up, when he was young and vigor and when he was jeez. So not one single person came to defend James. His children had disowned him years before he even years before. And even his own brother wasn't messing with him. After the trial, his brother Frank said, my brother has his raw, numbing evil that very people in society get. Fortunately, they have to confront, and I met this kind of evil in him, quote unquote. So that's what he quoted. Before sentencing, James was asked if he wanted to speak, and he declined. He was emotionless during sentencing. He is currently serving his life sentence at the Augusta State Mayor Prison, and he is 83 years old. That nigga's still alive. Die, nigga.
That's
Just
what I'm
waiting.
saying. Oh, we gotta try to picture him. Like he just look like he on his last leg.
That nigga, if he cough and fart at the same time, nigga, his heart gonna stop. So Tony Harwood served his 20-year 20 years and was released May 25th, 2018 from the Coastal State Prison in Georgia. He is in his 70s now and he lives in Mount Pleasant, North Carolina with his family. Poor Lita's family were still fighting in court as of 2018 for the settlement money. I told you, man, at the end of the day, I get you. I get what you're saying about they want the justice for the family, but at the end of the day, that money be talking. You know what I'm saying? We talk about 13 million after the cure interest. They believe James has the money stashed in Swiss bank accounts, and they would not get that he would not give up. Her father, Emery, passed. Now that's saying ratio sweet potato soul, homie, in December 2023 at the age of 90. But thank God that he was able to see his
yes.
daughter get justice. He is buried in a family plot with his baby girl, so you know they in heaven dancing. I bet you they like, man, yeah, don't trust white men. So okay, my bad. So I hope Lita is finally able to rest peacefully. Her inscription on her grave says, "In loving memory of dearest Lita, the giver, whose inner beauty was blinding, smiles, loves, and tears. ASM." And
That
that is
almost made me
sarcastic.
cry for real.
What about them being in
What's
heaven?
on
Talking about
her
don't trust white people.
inscription? No,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
on her inscription? Man, fuck that white man. Oh, I'm sorry.
Lord Jesus.
No, what was on her grave?
Yeah. Say it. All right. With that being said, now it's time for us to go to our favorite segment called
Love, Lies, and Alibis.
All right. What you got for us?
First of all, I didn't like how you just did that segue like that. I did not like that at all. I'm just gonna say that. Like,
you know, I'm like, anyway, let's go ahead and move on. We're not, yes. I mean, yes, I'm sorry. Did you want to continue to talk about the case? I apologize. I know you
no,
said you was a little emotional because of the description. I don't mean to be rude. Go ahead, speak your mind.
no, her it's just so sad. Like, and it's just that he had absolutely no freaking regard for her life in the slightest, and he off living his best white man life. That pisses me off. But I digress. So we're going to move on. So today's topic, it was actually, I have to tell y'all the story. I'll tell y'all the story of how it was and what it came from. But today's topic is going to be: is it okay to smash your friend's ex?
Ooh, that's a good one right there. That's a good one. Is it okay to smash your friend's ex? That's a good one.
So what do you say about that one?
What do I say about it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't think it is okay. It depends on what type of friendship you got with the person. Like, it depends on what type of ex is it. If it's like a ex that they had a relationship with where they were together for a while, hell no, you don't do that. You don't cross that line. But if this was just a jump off, like somebody that he was like, I met her and we banked out. Hey, dude, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You know what I'm saying? She got some good. Then no, I don't see I don't see that being an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so what if they just had a situationship, like they weren't together, but they was messing around for a while?
I mean, I think that depends on you and your homie, what you guys agree with. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like it depends on what you agree with. Me personally, nah, I'm not doing that. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I'm cool. I'm cool on the smashing of the homie friends. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the homie exes. You know what I'm saying? But some dudes, they on it. Some niggas, I mean, no offense, basketball player do it. Niggas, basketball player be fucking each other girls all the time. So you know what I'm saying? Some people okay with that. What about you? What about women? Do women do that? Do women be smashing the homies? Well, how you feel about it?
So my personal opinion, I don't want no dick. Somebody I know done had. I don't like that.
I don't even know why I asked you. We already know.
Yeah,
I don't even know why. Yes.
So this is what inspired this case was. I mean, what inspired this question was, so I was driving earlier and I was this Kelly's Price friend of mine came on and she was like so hurt that she slept with her man. Like, I was like, damn, bitch. And I was just like, you know
No, but okay,
what?
but hold on now. If now sleeping with a person, man, is different than sleeping with an ex. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but I'm not. Let me tell you how I segued into the You didn't let me finish. How I segued into
My
the
bad,
thought.
my bad, my bad.
So you know that other friend I used to have that I grew up with, right? So you know we was like,
Mm-hmm.
me and her was a twosome forever until we hit high school, and then we met our other friend, and then we became a threesome. So we've all been friends for years, like years upon years upon years. So I just remember she was messing with this friend, my very first friend. She was messing with this dude, but she's like always like was real secretive about who she be smashing on the low. So I ain't paying no attention. Ain't none of my business. I don't really care. And we were in Vegas, and she was like, "Yeah, I've been seeing this nigga. What did she call that man? We don't call him Trick because he gave her Trick. So we don't call him Trick.
Oh, damn! He gave her the tricky dicky.
So anyway, she was
Oh.
like, I was like, wait, ain't that what's she like? I mean, yeah, but I mean that was so long ago, like 5 years ago. I mean, like you used to be at the house with them when they was kicking it. Like you think that's cool? And she was like, I mean, well, I mean, it was a long time ago. I was like, well, did you tell her? And she was like, no. I'm like, so you ain't gonna tell her either? And I mean, that situation went on for they was messing around for like a whole year. And I'm like, you ain't gonna tell her?
I
Cause like
see. I mean, in that situation, man, no offense, man. Your friend was She was friend hopping though. Know what I'm saying? So that's to be
she
expected.
was, you know what? She really was a homie hopper.
Yeah,
She
was.
really was
Yes,
a
yeah.
homie
Because
hopper.
my brother used to mess with her, and she was.
Okay, so let me bring out the timeline. No, so she was messing with. I met her through the kids. No, I met the kid's dad through this dude we went to school with. So she was messing with the dude we went to school with, and they were all Kappas. So then she was messing with their other bruh at one point. But then the dude we went to school with, she was messing with your brother, who we all went to school with.
That coochie was, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because we went
Yeah.
to school with your brother.
And then
He
if he
We
gave her
graduated with him too, and they were friends. Then she ended up messing with yeah, it was like she was just in this. She was a homie
yeah,
hopper.
so
I ain't
yeah,
gonna hold
yeah,
you.
exactly. So no,
Mhm.
I think that's something that you should never do. I feel like at the end of the day, first of all, too many for men, too many females out there that you can knock off, but for women, it's the same thing. It ain't no reason for you to do that. Like that's just uh,
I mean, I just would feel
especially
weird.
yeah,
I would feel weird,
especially
like, you know what my nigga did. No, thank you.
yes, and women y'all talk too. Women y'all be talking. You know what I'm
No, I
saying?
was always taught you don't get too deep in what happened in the bedroom, because then the next bitch, cause you can't trust the next bitch. She gonna come through trying to figure out what you got, and then you got a whole friend of mine situation.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Man, like I
This
don't
was
know.
what
I'm not.
I don't know. I was told you don't
No,
give
I get it.
details.
I get it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. Like me personally, I don't. If it was just a jump off, then I'd be like, oh man, yeah, about this, that. But if it's about kicking away, hell no. I remember I had to tell my one dude, man, true story. We were working out or whatever the case may be. Yeah, we were working out and um we was in the locker room. He's like, man, I want to kick it with this girl and everything. She sent me some naked pictures. I'm like, bruh. Real talk, you don't want to do that. I like, don't show me that shit because man, you fuck around and end up marrying her and everything like that. And now I got an image of your wife, you know what I'm saying, how she look naked. True story, they end up getting married. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Yes, end up getting married. So yeah, you don't do shit like that. No, I mean they end up getting divorced and everything, he cheating on her, but that ain't the point I was trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is I don't even know what the point I was trying to make. Just don't show your naked pictures of your significant other or the person you messing with to your friend. Could you end up marrying her and now every time your friend come over, he see that she got the damn nipples that look like McDonald's sausage patties.
Sweet Jesus. Okay, we're done. We're done with this segment, because you
I'm
just
sorry.
you don't know how to behave. So we're just gonna leave that right there. So we want to hear what you have to say about, is it okay for you to smash a friend's ex? And you can tell us in our new group on Facebook. It's called Love,
Yes.
Lies, and Alibis. So come join us over there and tell us what you think. Willie already over there cutting up. It ain't even that many people in the
I
group, but
mean,
he already
join the
over there
group. Yes.
acting up.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely got to join the group, man. We got to join. Oh, wait. We got a contest that we had too, right? Right? Did we have some type of contest?
Okay, let's move on to something else because I didn't do the
God damn. Tiffany, you had one there. I didn't want to throw this out there, right? So Tiffany, you be on me about everything, right? Everything. And then a minute that you do it, you be like, all right, let's move on. I'm like, where that same energy at? But I understand.
Because you know what, I do a lot over here. I be struggling.
I got you. So, all right. So, when we gonna name it then? Well, we'll figure that out. We said we are gonna name them, so we gotta look. You know what? We're gonna name it. So, at the end of this segment, you're gonna hear the name that we're gonna do. We could just fit it in, so ain't no problem.
Okay,
We
so
add
while
it.
I do that, I need you to go ahead and talk about the other stuff.
What's that? I didn't write that shit down. I was hoping that you were gonna do it. And I just, kind of come in. All right. Well, I know. Look, first of all, yes, you know the one thing we got to talk about Khadijah Brown. You got to check that episode out. That's episode
9.
9. Check the episode out, man. You know we riding with her, man. That's the show. That's our baby. We want to do everything we can to try to help her out. At the end of the day, like we always say, I gotta keep repeating myself. We're not saying that she's innocent. We just saying that she did not get the representation that she deserved because they charged her for second-degree murder when they could have charged her with voluntary manslaughter. She could get more time, less time. They gave her 34 years. This woman got 4 kids, and she deserved to see her kids. Also, we got a GoFundMe that's set up. Donate to that GoFundMe, man. Know what I'm saying? Y'all women be out there buying them fake ass, know what I'm saying, boots and them thin ass Shein jackets and shit like that and freezing your elbows off. But you could take some of that money and donate it to a good cause. That's all I'm saying. And you niggas be out there if you listening. Y'all be sitting up there tricking and buying a little what you call that, the gas station honey, thinking it really worked, you know what I'm saying? And it don't. Know what I'm saying? That's money that you be using to give to Khadijah. That's all I'm saying. Help Proud is a good cause. Second, like she said, we got our Facebook group, Little Lies and Alibis. Check it out. It's a open forum. We talk about everything, relationships, whatever it is. I'm ignorant. You come on there being ignorant, I'll be ignorant with you. Know what I'm saying? You gotta answer a couple questions so we know that we ain't got no bots. What else do we got? Yes, remember, we also are doing advertisements. Yes, we are advertisement. Our audience has grown. With that being said, we want to make sure that we spread the love. Black-owned businesses. If you want to advertise with us, you can definitely just send an email. And the email address is
podcast@melaninmysteries.com.
yes, let us know what you want us to say. I'm very good at shooting videos. I could put my funk on it. If I put my funk on it, I'm telling you, you're gonna get mass customers. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to say what you wanted to say, that's all you gotta say. But if you say, hey, Willie, put that funk on it, I'm telling you, man, you definitely will succeed. Also, what else? I think that's it, right?
Yes, sir. Okay, so for the winner for the Instagram giveaway you're going to win a Melanin Mysteries cup. So we need you to either message us on one of our social media pages. It was Devana. One of the two.
Devana? Who is
Devana, I
Devana?
think.
Is she on the Instagram? Devana?
She was on Facebook.
She's on Facebook. Is she in our Facebook group?
I'm not sure if she's in our Facebook group or not, but she can come find us. I'm not sure. I don't pay attention that much. I'm sorry.
So her name, all right, Devana, come find us. If not, I'm taking a cup. Or we gonna give it to somebody else.
You're so damn rude.
Just throwing it out there. All right, what else? What else we got?
Already did.
Cool, man.
Okay, so and then the winner for leaving us a review and or a comment goes to, they were on Spotify, and it is true_loyalty, and this person will win a Melanin Mysteries hoodie. So please come and find us. Please come and find us.
How they gonna find us?
They can find us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Melanin Mysteries Podcast. You can find us in our Facebook group, Love, Lies, and Alibis. Or you can find us at our email, podcast@melaninmysteries.com.
All right, make sure you do it, man. Them hoodies ain't no joke. Yeah, the hoodies ain't no joke. Like real talk. So make sure you find us. All right. Anything else?
Nope, that is all I got. So make sure that you always remember that love should not come with a life sentence, and make sure you choose freedom and not felonies.
All right, and there we go. Take it easy.